When I thought there was no way out, this ancient wisdom changed everything. I used to think some people were just born to struggle, that no matter how hard you tried, life always had its way of pulling you back down. And for the longest time, I believed I was one of those people. My life had become a slow, colorless loop, waking up tired, pretending to smile, doing what was expected, and going to bed with a chest full of emptiness. The kind of emptiness that no sleep, no distraction, no conversation could fill. Days blurred into nights, and I stopped counting how long I'd been walking through that fog. It wasn't one big tragedy that broke me. It was a series of small heartbreaks. Dreams that didn't work out, people who left without goodbye, and the weight of pretending everything was fine. And when you pretend long enough, you forget what real even feels like. There was one night, cold, silent, endless, when it all became too much. I sat by the window, watching the city lights flicker like distant promises, wondering if anyone would notice if I just disappeared. And that's when I whispered to myself, I can't do this anymore. I don't know what made me walk out that night. Maybe it was instinct, maybe a last cry for help. The streets were almost empty, just the soft hum of faraway traffic and the sound of my own footsteps echoing against the pavement. I wandered until I reached a small park. There was an old wooden bench near the pond, weathered, cracked, yet still standing. Something about it felt familiar, like it had been waiting for me. I sat there, breathing in the cold air, watching the reflection of streetlights ripple across the dark water. And then I cried. Not the quiet kind of tears you hide, but the kind that come from deep inside, the kind that finally admit, I'm not okay. That's when I heard a voice. Soft, gentle, almost like it came from another time. Sometimes we need to lose everything to remember what really matters. I looked up. An old woman stood a few feet away, wrapped in a shawl that seemed older than the night itself. She had eyes that felt ancient, not in age, but in knowing. She sat beside me without asking, and for a while we just sat in silence. No questions, no small talk, just stillness. Then she said, "You're carrying too much." Her words pierced through me. I wanted to tell her she didn't understand, that my life was falling apart, that I'd tried everything. But all that came out was a trembling. I don't know who I am anymore. She nodded. Good, she whispered. That means the old version of you is dying, don't fight it. Her calmness irritated me. I didn't want to hear something mystical. I wanted answers. I wanted a way out of my pain. So I asked, then what am I supposed to do? She smiled faintly. And that's when she told me the piece of ancient wisdom that would change everything. When the storm rages, stop trying to fight it. Let it wash over you, because what is meant to stay will never drown. You think you've lost everything, but maybe you've only lost what was never truly yours. The things that belong to your soul, peace, strength, love, they can't leave you. They're just buried beneath the noise. Her words landed in the quiet space between my breaths. For the first time in months, I wasn't thinking, I was feeling. She continued, life is not punishing you. It's pruning you, cutting away what you've outgrown. You are not broken, child. You are being reshaped. Then, just as suddenly as she appeared, she stood up and began to walk away. I wanted to ask her name, to thank her, to make sure she was real, but I couldn't move. It was as if the night itself wanted me to sit with her words. That night, I didn't find answers, but I found something I hadn't felt in a long time, stillness. The days that followed weren't miraculous. My pain didn't disappear, my problems didn't vanish, but something subtle shifted inside me. Every time I felt the weight of despair, I remembered her voice. What is meant to stay will never drown. So I stopped fighting the storm. I stopped pretending to be okay. I let myself feel. I cried when I needed to cry. I rested when I was tired. I forgave myself for the mistakes that haunted me. And in that surrender, something unexpected happened. I began to heal. Slowly, I noticed beauty again, in small things I used to overlook. The way the sun spilled through my window each morning. The rhythm of rain against the glass. The scent of freshly brewed coffee filling my kitchen. I started journaling, not about achievements, but about gratitude. One line at a time, I began to see my own reflection differently. I wasn't the broken version I thought I was. I was just someone learning to begin again. Months passed, and I found myself back at that same park. The same bench, the same pond. But the woman was gone, as if she had never been there. I sat down and whispered a quiet thank you to the wind. Maybe she was a stranger. Maybe she was something more. All I know is that her words lived on, like a quiet lantern inside my chest. And in time, I realized what she truly meant. That life's darkest moments aren't the end. They're the turning points. The moments that strip you bare so you can finally meet yourself. Not who you thought you were, but who you're meant to be. There's an ancient saying, she once repeated in my memory. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Maybe that's what she was, not a teacher in the usual sense, but a messenger. A reminder that the answers we seek are never outside us. They're within, waiting for silence to be heard. And now, whenever I meet someone drowning in their own darkness, someone whispering, "I can't do this anymore," I tell them this story. I tell them about the night I almost gave up. About the woman who reminded me that endings can be disguised beginnings. About how letting go doesn't mean losing. It means making space for what's real. Because pain, as cruel as it feels, is often life's most honest teacher. It shows us what matters. It humbles us. It rebuilds us from the inside out. I've come to learn that healing doesn't mean the absence of scars. It means learning to live with them and letting them remind you how far you've come. So if you're listening to this right now and you're tired, if you feel like there's no way out, remember this: the storm doesn't last forever. The darkness you're walking through isn't a dead end, it's a tunnel. And on the other side, there's light waiting to meet you. When I thought there was no way out, that ancient wisdom changed everything. It didn't fix my life overnight, it redefined it. And it taught me the most important truth of all. Sometimes we are saved not by someone rescuing us, but by the moment we finally stop running from ourselves. Let me know what you think about this story in the comments. And if it touched a quiet part of your heart, hit the like button. For more motivational and healing stories like this one, join our community by subscribing to the Tales Beyond Words.